Hey, hi everyone. I hope you can hear me. I see Rajiv is here. We'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we can begin. Hey, hi Ranga, hi Balaji. Thank you for joining. And if you have joined the previous two sessions, so you can also put your questions in the chat if you have any, based on the content that we had discussed yesterday and the day before. So today we'll have some more time to discuss the questions around Agentforce and Data 360. Oh, hey, hi, Aktam. I'm just checking if Shreya is here. Okay, she's here. Yeah. So you can wait for 1 or 2 minutes more and then we can start. Oh, it's Friday evening in India. Okay, so that might be the reason we see a little less people as compared to the previous 2 days. Yeah, so thanks Ranga for highlighting this. And that's why you are seeing that we are doing the presentation today on the Salesforce community channel. And so today we'll also have opportunities for you to win some swags, some goodies. So if you have attended the previous two sessions, so you can also share your experiences on LinkedIn and you can tag Rajiv, myself, Shreya, Trailblazer Chin, and we'll go through the post that you have made and we can choose a few winners amongst the people who are there, and we do have sufficient number of prizes, like we have 10 odd prizes that we'll be giving you as part of your LinkedIn post. And then there will be some questions and answers that uh, like we'll discuss, and Rajiv will also ask a couple of questions in the form of a quiz. So whoever can answer first, so we'll choose them as the winners for that. But the quiz is mainly for those people who have attended the previous two sessions, because we want to motivate the regular attendees and learners. But for LinkedIn post, so you can all post, and we'll be choosing a few winners amongst the attendees.
And Rohan, I do also have a list of people who had kind of reported that they were not able to join yesterday. So we can
Mhm.
still kind of consider them that they had at least the willingness to join.
Sure, sure.
So we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
consider them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
also, so I host regular events in Delhi. So in case someone is in Delhi and NCR, so you can join my events and I'll make sure you get something if you don't win anything today. Yeah. Rajiv, I think we can start. What?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hey everyone, I'm not on camera just because that I'm little unwell, but still wanted to make the session. So content is ready, just that I won't be on the camera for today. Cool. So thanks for joining on day 3. This is the final session. So the reason that I've rushed yesterday is to make sure that I try to answer all your questions. And again, like this initiative is more around like helping you if in case that you have already on part of the journey, if you have questions or if you haven't understood anything as part of like the certification, we kind of help you there and enable certain aspects of it. And as well as like the certification has changed as of Monday. So that way you'll have an understanding what all the things that got changed. If you haven't seen any of those topics or completed trial heads related to that, you'd be able to like complete it and have a better understanding. So this is not a general agent force training, rather than this is more focused on certification preparation. So you might have seen certain topics that we could have skipped, or we might have not spoke about it. That's because like either that's a new release feature or that's not part of the certification. So for your agent force journey is separate than your agent force certification. Be clear on that, because the certification is focused on very specific topics. So that's why I like always go through the preparation guide and then see if there is anything that you haven't covered. Try to complete all those trial heads as well, so that way you are sure that you know everything as part of the certification journey. And agent first learning journey is completely different, because you'll have to track all the new things that are coming in. You need to have hands on everything. That is completely new. So that is different, where you might have seen other people taking sessions or like Salesforce leading sessions either in Dreamforce or TDX, is completely different than what we are doing here. So again, this is something I wanted to cover. So we have covered AI agents on day one, prompt engineering, data cloud, and multi-agent interoperability yesterday. And then today we'll see about like deployment lifecycle and see some sample questions. And finally, we have some quiz as well. So again, let's part of weightage. It is 21, 12, 12, 12, 3 questions. So we covered most of it, and we are left with development lifecycle. So before going there, I wanted to like reiterate what happens, or like the last topic that we discussed is more around like data cloud. So I thought this might help you. Where does your data cloud comes into play? Where does your prompt builder related to agent comes into play, and a user query? So when you upload a file or when you upload a document, it is all unstructured data where chunking happens, embedding happens. Embedding is nothing but chunking is splitting your data. The splitted data is transferred into a numerical representation, and that is called embeddings. And since you wanted to store all these information together, that's where you store it in a vector database, and that process is called vector indexing. So you have different types of way to search. It could be like keyword search or hybrid search. That depends on the configuration again. So this is where your search index is where all your chunking and embedding gets stored. And you will always need a retriever ID, because like retriever ID is where it will point out to a specific search index. So you could have like multiple retriever IDs, but each retriever ID will point out to a specific search index. Now, how does retriever comes into play, or how does that work along with prompt template, is that you have an agent, you have something called as ancient data library. So each data library has point will point you to a retriever ID. So this is where like how the dynamic retriever works, meaning that you don't have to have retriever ID hard coded, rather than keep it dynamic. So every agent can have its own data library, and you can still use one prompt template to just search answer questions with knowledge, and that will be able to like answer it. And this is runtime, so that's why like we are using prompt template, where the user query comes directly into prompt template. Prompt template will be able to access the data cloud retrievers, find the answers via search index, and it generates the responses via LLM and responds back to the user. This is like very high level. What we have seen yesterday is like in depth. I've shown you how to access all that data in data cloud as well, but just wanted to make sure that you understand at the high level as well. So now coming to the development life cycle, you might have been part of like projects as part of your developer or consultant and architect journey, where you try to find use cases from customer, developer, test it in SIT, push it to UAT for business testing, and deploy it, and then like you're done. Unless a new use case comes or customer comes and tells like these are the use cases that we wanted to develop, that's your regular development lifecycle. But AI or let's say Agentforce development lifecycle is little different, because it's not just one-time development where you come up with certain use cases, you see that customer might have a business impact. That's where like you ideate, and once you ideate with business, you start to configure it in agent builder. And once you test out everything from a developer perspective, you wanted to test it out. That's where like you have something called as testing center, which we will look into it. This is again an AI feature. And once you feel that everything is good in terms of like testing, that's when like you deploy. We will also we'll be looking into more into like deployment and testing today. But apart from that, in general use cases like normal development process, you won't supervise or like you won't see how your system is performing. Rather than, since it is AI, it is an LLM behind the scenes generating all the responses, you need to supervise this, meaning that you'll have to see whether the agent is able to respond all the questions. If there are use cases where agent is not able to respond, you would track all those sessions and then like again get into an ideate phase and then like develop all those use cases where the agent is not able to respond back, or we haven't developed certain things for the use cases. So it is like ongoing process. It's not like, let's say I work on a project for 1 month and that's it. No. uh, Supervising part is like super critical, because you need all that capability, and Salesforce has enabled certain capabilities within data cloud to enable the reporting and dashboards as well. So we'll see one feature about it, but in general it's an ongoing process. You just don't end after supervise or after deployment. You still analyze and identify new use cases that needs to be developed. So until now, we have seen that you might have been part of multiple testing systems for Salesforce, where it could be a manual testing or an automated testing, where they kind of try to replicate a user interface testing and then see whether the user interface is good, or if in case they are running into issues, they would log a bug directly. Rather than how does your AI testing changes, is that since it's more of like conversation, what we have seen is that we have a user within Salesforce or who's a customer who's coming to your website and initiating a chat and asking questions. So it's more of like seeing whether the agent is able to answer the questions or whether the answer is accurate, uh, to also validate whether it is not hallucinating or it is not reproducing or like replicating data that's not within our system. So that's where Agentforce testing center comes into play. So there are like two ways that you can do the testing. One is direct testing and second one is batch testing. So direct testing is nothing but, let's say you have a CSV file where you have a list of questions and also you put in a text what is the expected response. So we upload this file into the testing center, and we also have the questions, right? So based on the questions, the agent will be able to like answer all those questions and validate if the answer that it got generated is close enough or it is in the same context of what you have given it as an answer. So think it in a way that ideally, as part of like testing in your development lifecycle, you see testers creating Excel sheets where they have list down all the use cases where you test one by one. In a similar way, we do it, but since this is all AI generated responses, we also give a valid response. So if in case that you have a business team, they can give you like, this is my question and I want agent to produce answer in this way. So you can just give question and answer. So based on this, agent will execute and it will tell you whether it was close enough to that answer or not. So you'll also have both positive testing and negative testing as part of it. So this is all manual, which means you already know what you have to test. But let's say there are like multiple use cases, you still want AI at some point where you want AI to generate use cases. That's when like batch testing comes into play, where within the builder you have a button called batch testing. So when you click on it, it redirects you to a Agentforce testing center, where you have like 3 to 4 questions where the agent asks like what all the topics that you have to choose for an AI to generate the use cases, and it will automatically generate the use cases and test and show you whether it was able to pass it or not. So that's where like you have to list or two use cases. One is like direct testing via CSV files, and another one is batch testing. And to access this again, like not everyone can access it, so there are like certain permissions. Ideally, like let's say either you will be a system admin or ensure that you have manage AI agents or customizable application access to ensure that you're able to access the testing center within your org. So the one catch about like automated testing is that let's say there's a limit in terms of like running the test, so that you can run up to 10 tests or jobs within 10 hours. that can generate up to, let's say, I think it is 10,000 test cases. I'll check the numbers, but again, like this is something you definitely need to go through in terms of like consideration of testing center to see if that has been like anything has Salesforce has listed out any other limitations. So the or like complete the Agentforce testing central trial head. So you will need to memorize this because this there could be questions from the number of limits as well. And again, like for any of the AI use cases, data is the quality, so you should have different diversity of data. And then like if you have like more number of use cases, then you'd be able to know whether your agent is able to work or not. So what we have seen initially as part of like reasoning engine is that when I type something, it would hit into a right topic, and based on the question that I have asked the agent, it has to hit the right action as well. So that is what it checks, that whether based on the user input, whether the agent was able to choose the right topic, based on that, was it able to execute the right actions, and was that response close enough to whatever the customer is expecting. If not, then it would mark it as false. So these are the three things that it would consider in terms of making a use case like let's say success or pass. Let's say in the first itself, based on the input that I've given, it choose a wrong topic, which means that it will directly make it as fail. Or it didn't execute the right action, then it will mark it as fail. So this is where you need to look into whether your agent is working as expected or not. And again, like let's say once the result, so the result is something I'll show you once it comes in. So if you feel that there are certain utterances that you wanted to test it, which has failed in the testing center, you can go back to the builder and then put the same prompt and optimize your agent builder in a way that it passes. And again, like Salesforce doesn't have a direct number that only if at 80 percentage your testing center passes it, deploy it. There's no standard numbers in terms of when do you want to deploy it. As far as like your customer is happy or how the way that the agent is responding for now, you can go ahead and deploy it in production, or you can reiterate in terms of like optimizing your instructions or optimizing your topic descriptions. You can still do it and then ensure that it is good enough to get into production. So I'll quickly switch to the builder. So this is my builder, and when I click on patch test, it will take you to Agentforce testing center. So this is an automated test, so that's why like it is, you'll give a name, let's say. So again, like you want to include all the conversation history. We have looked at context variables, so you can choose what all the context variables in that particular use case. And then even in use cases that here you can upload test cases, or you can ask AI agent to like create use cases for you. So here I have choose the topic, so based on that it will be able to execute it. So I'll just refresh it to see if it has completed, because this takes some time to execute. So I don't know if it completes it or not. Okay, it went wrong, so I'm not able to show it. So let's try again. So I don't know which agent that I had my data. Okay, it is here. Don't think I would need any of this. Just restrict it to, let's say, 10. So again, like you can still choose how do you want to make the qualification, like whether it was able to generate the answers accurate, or in general, like AI doesn't like generate grammatical errors, but there are use cases that we have seen that agent wouldn't agent won't be able to like generate responses. That's when like you'd be able to like evaluate on like multiple things. But in general, you just do a topic verification, action verification, and response verification as well. So let's see if this works. I'm not sure if it will complete or not, but ideally this is one. But let's say if you have to like manually create it, so let's say, okay, so I think they've changed the interface. So manual is where like you have seen the use case one, like the test data. So if you have an Excel sheet, and again, like if you don't know how it looks like, there is a template here. I think it will take me to a different screen. Yeah. So there's a template here where you can see what is the input that you wanted to give, what is the expected topic that you expect the agent to do it. Again, like this is the API name of the topic. So if you give a wrong name, but the agent returns on a different topic, then it will mark it as false. So you have to replace the actual API name and test it again. And also you can see what is the expected action, whether it went into that, or what is the expected response as well. So this is the template, so you can edit it, and you don't need the conversation history, but ideally like you just need to add all your utterances, expected topic, expected actions, and response to it, and upload it. Because now we have tested the agent, we have started to build it, we tested it, and we wanted to deploy it. So how do we deploy it, and what are the use cases that we have? So we have both chain sets and Agentforce DX for deployment. So if you might have been since the beginning of like how sales was developed, chain sets tool, UI friendly, where you'll be able to like deploy it from one org to another org. So in Sandbox org, you'll create an outbound chain set, including certain metadata. I'll cover the metadata in the next slide. So including all your metadata, for example, your developed topics, classes, flows, and other things, then you need to add that in the outbound chain set. And in the production org, you will go to the inbound chain set, and then if you'll have to set up that connection already. Once the connection is established, you'll be able to see the inbound chain set, validate it, and deploy it. In terms of like Agentforce DX, so you can still use your CLI within your code, either it is a CLI or VS Code extension. You'd be still able to access all the metadata and deploy it from one org to another org, or you can still use Capado or any other deployment tools that are available. You'd still be able to use it, because like the whole concept of like Agentforce DX is using metadata APIs. So behind the scenes, they're just exposing the metadata APIs, and then like every single deployment tool has their own interface. So it could be much more easier for you to like deploy from one org to another org. Also, Salesforce has exposed the Agentforce Testing Center API. So you can still auto-generate use cases using the testing API via Agentforce DX. Instead of like manually doing it, you can still use it via testing API as well. So this part is like key in terms of like understanding what are all the different sets of metadata API that we have. So think it in a way like if you remember going back to the builder. So I've already told Atlas Reasoning Engine is nothing but a planner, which kind of makes a plan in terms of telling you what all it has to do. So that's where like the whole agent comes into play. So the agent is generally the Gen AI planner, and we might have created multiple topics. So the topics are called as Gen AI plugins, and we have inserted actions. Either it could be standard actions or custom actions, so that are Gen AI functions. And if in case as part of function, let's say you have reference to the prompt templates or Apex or flows, you need to include all those. And since prompt template is a new thing, you have something called as Gen AI prompt templates. So if you can't remember it, just think it in a way that what are the things that you would go into an agent. You go into an agent, you create a topic, you create actions, and that actions could be part of like prompt templates, Apex or flow. So these are the things that you have to insert in. And you still have one more thing which is critical, something called as Einstein bot. So Salesforce didn't develop everything from the scratch. They already had the infrastructure, and that infrastructure is something called Einstein bots. So all this generative AI platform is built on top of Einstein pod. So I think right now it is automated, but while deploying, you will have to always ensure that you are deploying your Einstein bot and Einstein bot version. Only then your deployment will be successful. If you just try to deploy these four things, your deployment will fail. So the existing part needs to be deployed as well. So that's why like keep in mind that the Einstein bot and Einstein bot version needs to be deployed as well. Oops. So now, as part of like supervising the features, what we have seen until now is that we tested it, we deployed it. Now we need to supervise it. So do we have enough data about like how to supervise all these? So since this is like huge data, we can't store it in Salesforce for sure, because like Salesforce storage, how it takes up the space, right? So that's why anything that is related to Gen AI or agentic AI, everything is stored within a data cloud. And you might see a different set of like data streams here. I'll show you in a moment after turning in all those, but ideally like you'd be able to see all the interaction logs, system logs, and reason engineering logs. And for this, like you need to enable a feature called Agentforce session tracking. So once you enable it, you would have a detailed sets of reports and dashboard for you to like access in terms of like how the conversation went, what was the input that the customer has provided it. So similar to what you see in the reasoning engine in between, like when you put an input, you'll be able to show which topic it hit, why did it choose that topic, why did it reason to reproduce a response. All those get tracked in the Agentforce session log. So you have like detailed response towards it. And this is where like also, let me go back to the agent. So I don't know if you have seen this. So keep a record of conversation in the event logs. This is something that will take up your space in data cloud as well. So it's not just storing very basic information, rather than it has like much more information. So these are things that get stored in data cloud as well. So there are features in general. So what we have seen now is that we have we have a feature called agent for session log, which kinds of captures turn by turn responses and store it in data cloud. So that's where what all it does is part of this, and this is called as like Agentforce analytics, where you'd be able to see user or like session logs, and this is all tracked within like the session model. And again, like individual logs and everything gets tracked here, so you'll have like better visibility in terms of how this works. And in terms of like governance, like we all know that Salesforce is pretty strict in security, and then like trust is their number one value. So in that case, like we had very much control in terms of like the data visibility and other things within Salesforce in general, in terms of like any cloud. But data cloud didn't have like any of those capabilities earlier, and that's how they have been releasing a ton of features within data cloud just for the governance. So that is where you'd be able to set up data cloud governance as well. And there are like two sets of policies. All you have to know is like there are attribute based access control and role based access control as well. So just the name says that based on certain attributes that you wanted to control it, or like based on the role of the user you wanted to like control it. So data cloud also has like additional governance capability that has been like introduced. So there are a few things. Okay, so I'll go back to the initial topic to see here. So we have looked into ideate and configure in the first two sessions. So we have looked at testing center. We have looked at how do we deploy it, what are all the metadata API components that we have, and we also have seen supervisor. So I'll quickly show you the supervisor part, because unless you see it, you won't be able to understand this. So you can just type in monitor, and then like if you go into Einstein audit analytics and monitor setup, so this is the new feature that got released as part of summer 25, which is like agent for session tracking. All you have to do is like enable these two icons here, and in terms of your audit feedback and everything, you can just turn it on here. Now, as I said, that this is all getting stored in data cloud, so I'll quickly switch to data cloud app. And how do I always verify whether all these information is getting here? So you can see here anything that says that AI at the starting, which is like a prefix, or the information that is used for all these reporting. So you can see that the data connector type is AI platform connector. So any of these kinds of tracks all those information, and anything that is Gen AI is nothing but your generative AI feedbacks that we have seen in the first one. So this audit and feedback is Gen AI prefix, and any of your session tracking or part of like Agentforce AI, which is like AI platform connector. So how do I know how to access? So similar to Salesforce reports and dashboards, you have uh, data cloud reports. So I'll see if this is created or not, but I'm not sure whether it will be here, but let's see. So one of them is Agentforce default. So Agentforce default was the version 2, so the naming is still there, and you'd be able to see. So for internal users who are using Agentforce, these are the let's say reports that you have here, and utterance is nothing but an input that you provide to the agent. So you can see how many inputs that customer has given, whether it went into that particular topic or not. So utterance is nothing but uh, the keyword or the input that you provide to an agent. So let's see if this has it, because I haven't like done any of the testing in this sort. So ideally, yes. But you can see like these are the standard reports that Salesforce has imported. So when you move to a production, or like when you use it as a use case within your org, you'd be able to see all these getting populated. So there were a few things I wanted to cover because I missed out to do this. So we have seen that there are service agents. I'll still close out all these. So yeah, so we have seen that there are service agents. For example, like I have a community site. If I want to expose this, there are like standard actions that do it. But how do I actually connect this agent into that particular, let's say, community, is via two things. So there is something called messaging settings. If you have completed trial heads, that you'd be able to say it, but I still wanted to like cover part of it. So messaging settings is the place where you'd be able to let Salesforce know what are all the chat interfaces that you want to connect your chat to. So ideally, like since I don't have the right license, okay, I'll turn on this and then I'll still show it to you. So if I click on like new channel, earlier I was able to see only one, but now you can see that I can connect my Salesforce chat interface to like WhatsApp, Facebook, Apple, Line, and then like enhanced chat is the default feature of like what Salesforce gives chat connectivity towards your website or community sites. So you'll choose enhanced chat, give a name, and you'll give the domain name and create it. So I've already created one for today. So this is where you'd be able to see all the information. Now, if you remember, we have looked at two types of variables. One is context variable and conversation variables. And I told that context variables are something that are read only, which means that we'd be able to configure it before an interaction starts. So let's say if I'm exposing this particular messaging settings in my website, and how do I expose it is when the messaging setting gets created, there is something called embedded service deployments that gets automatically created. So this is where like you will change the look and feel of how your chat bubble should look like. So messaging settings specifically to let's say the chat product of like what Salesforce provides on your website, it's called first party, meaning that Salesforce owns that application and develops that application, whereas you have third party applications like WhatsApp, Facebook, that are just integrated into Salesforce chat infrastructure. So since this is like first party, that's the only reason that you will see only for first party. Whenever you create a messaging settings, an embedded service deployment gets created. But if you try to create a messaging settings for third party systems like WhatsApp and other things, embedded service deployment won't be created. So you need to be aware of that. So I'll quickly go in here, and here you will be able to see the way how do you want to change the look and feel. But I wanted to talk about this code snippet. So this is the snippet Salesforce provides for this particular messaging setting. So all you have to do is like click on clipboard, so which means like it copies the entire code. Now you'd be able to expose the chat functionality in an external system directly. Like let's say you have a website development team, so if you just give the script, they'll be able to add the script into the website and the chat bubble will be usable there as well. So this is how like Salesforce exposes their chat functionality into website and community sites. So I've covered ESTs. Now, how do I connect my agent to this particular messaging settings? That's where your flows comes into play. So only via flows you'll be able to connect your messaging settings to agent. So each messaging settings can be connected to only one agent, and that is done via Omni flows. So there's a new type of flow called Omni flow, which has an action called route work action. So you can see that I haven't added anything. I'm just adding the route work action. I'll ensure my agent is active. Okay, so copy the name. So I'll just say route to agent. And the critical part here is like the variable here. So the variable has to be a variable type. And this is something that you'll have to ensure that I is capital and rest all is like just record ID. And then it should be of data type text, and you have to allow it for input, meaning that externally when a chat bubble is clicked on, a record gets created behind the scenes, and that's messaging session, and you're passing that messaging session ID via this flow, and you're passing that information to the agent. So this plays a crucial role in terms of passing that information. And here I'm using messaging. Here I'm routing it to service agent, and I can see my service agent here. And let's say if I have created any fallback queue, I'll be able to like add it. I haven't created any fallback queue, that's why. And if you save it, this is something called as inbound omni flow. So the reason that it is inbound omni flow is because whenever a chat gets initiated, this is the first point of contact that the agent tries to link your chat interface to an agent. So that's why I'll still create it. So that's the reason that anytime that you see when you click on a chat interface, you will see a AI agent joining the chat, and that's because of these flow. So this flow is responsible for connecting your chat to a particular agent. So I'll quickly go to queues. I'll create one so that I can show you into one. And again, like if this is new or like this is something that you haven't done, this should be part of your trailhead. So just ensure to complete it. Oops, I'll just save it. There are like multiple things you have to create. You'll have to create a routing configuration as well. And this is all part of your omni-channel configuration. So just ensure that you're at least doing it once in the trailhead arc, so you know how this configuration is done. So the object I'll choose is messaging session, and I'll choose my user here and save the queues. I'll just copy the queue name here. Flow builder fallback queue is messaging, and I'm saving it. And once this is saved, all it does is just route to the agent, and the agent will take care of it rest. I'll activate it. So once this is activated, if I go to my messaging settings, you'll be able to see the omni-channel routing. So here I'm choosing it as omni flows, and here I'm choosing inbound omni flow, and my fallback use messaging here. So until now, what we have done is that whenever customer clicks on the chat bubble, a conversation starts, and we need to route it to an AI agent, and that AI agent routing happens via inbound omni flow. That's the reason it is named as inbound, meaning is that whenever customer comes inside to the chat, this flow routes it to the AI agent. Now let's say at some point that the AI agent is not able to answer certain questions or not able to take certain path, because we have like certain restrictions, but still want this to be transferred to a human agent. So that's where you configure something called as outbound omniflow. So outbound omniflow is something you will do the same configuration. You'll still have the record ID, but instead of routing it to AI agent, you would still be able to route it to a queue, skills, anything that you wanted to do as part of your omni-channel configuration, you would still be able to do it. And let's say your customer had like, let's say messaging Einstein bots. So these flows are like, since you are manually configuring and not out of the box, you still have the capability where you're starting your chat with the Einstein bot and you wanted to transfer to human agents, or you wanted to transfer it to an AI agent, you'd still be able to use an OmniFlow and configure it. But as part of your certification, all you have to know is that outbound OmniFlow is something that you configure for escalations, and inbound OmniFlow is you configure it for routing the chats to an AI agent. So this is something that I missed on day one. So wanted to ensure that you have this. Sorry. And this is pretty important, like what is the action name that you're using, and the action name is like route work, and record ID is also important. You'll have to mark it as available for input only, then this will work, else you'll run into issues. So if I go back to my agent, I'll deactivate it because you'll have to manually add this here. So I'll go to connections. You might see different set of setups, but this is still fine. So you can see that I haven't added inbound flow, but since it is added there, it knows that that inbound flow is connected to this. But here I can choose the Omni flow, and then you can configure the message as well. So which means now if I have like the entire setup, then it will be able to route it to an AI agent. And when it feels that it needs to escalate to a human agent, it will use this outbound flow and then still route it. So that's the reason that you see here as like inbound flow versus like outbound flow or escalations. Cool. I know I've been talking a lot. Just wanted to like show you some sample examples of questions. So you can go to the chat, and based on the questions, what do you feel that would be the right answer? You can just say A, B, or C. I'll start reading the questions. And first one is like an example to see. So Polar Bear Solar Panels wants to improve productivity for service and sales teams. What feature should Agentforce specialist recommend to streamline the companies? To streamline company process and improve productivities. Do you think like Agentforce would be a better option, Prom Builder or Einstein Trust Layer? Okay, Prom Builder seems to be going on.
Yeah, so everyone mentioned B.
Yeah, I
Someone
need both
mentioned A as well.
responses. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to see, both A and B, and someone finally someone responded A. So this is where it gets a little tricky. I know even when I was thinking, I thought the answer is B, but then like you'll need to understand that uh, prompt builder is just a use case for you to like generate responses. But now the point is, uh, as a product of like Agentforce, you'd be able to navigate to any different object, ask any number of questions, and still get your answers done, or draft emails and other things. That's why like Agent Builder takes a little more priority than Prompt Builder, because like Prompt Builder is specific to use cases and it is specific to objects. So if I enable Prompt Builder on lead, my productivity on lead gets increased. But if I enable Agent Builder in general, I'll be able to access any of the objects within the Salesforce or which I have access to. So that's the reason that Agent Builder always takes higher priority. But there are use cases where Prompt Builder will be helpful, but you'll have to again see uh, in a whole, not just in perspective of a feature, rather than from a customer standpoint, which feature gives you like additional capability. So that's the reason that it is Agent Builder.
One
Okay.
second. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, sure. Yeah, no, no. Yeah, we can uh, like pick on it later. Let's, yeah,
Okay.
continue.
Okay. So the second question is, this is where like the actual question starts. So let's see, like I have quiz at the last. So this is trying to understand how do you understand based on the conversations. So how does Atlas Reasoning Engine identify agent topics and action for a specific input based on the topic API name, action instructions, or topic and action instructions, or using Atlas Reasoning Engine settings? Okay, I want both options, which I got it. So I've let you know the answer. Is this answer correct or wrong? Because always I don't have to be correct. So I just kept one answer, which is completely wrong. So wanted to see if you're able to identify this or not. So the answer is B here, because it doesn't take care of like the API names or anything. All it knows is the topic and action instructions. So it never considers the API name. So the answer is wrong here, definitely, which is not A. So I wantedly put this as an answer to see if you're able to identify this or not. So the answer is B, not A. So very good. We'll keep going. And again, like this is something that you will definitely have one question, because like it covers pretty much everything. So which statement accurately describes the fundamental difference between a context variable and conversation variable? So context variables are read only after the session initialization, where conversation variables are created via action outputs in agent builder to store the data during the conversation. Context variables are created during the actions and can be modified. I'll just read the primary thing so you know what it is. Okay, most of you got it right. It is read only. Context variable is read only, and conversation variables are something that you'll be able to access within your actions, and that would be able to pass your information from one topic to another topic. So great. So now let's see, for this feature, kind of similar to the first question that we spoke about, company X would like to generate a summary of sales interaction based on activities on an opportunity. Which capability should they use? Is it agent builder or prompt builder? Right. So here, this is the difference between. So I think like this will help you understand your question number one versus this, because like for prompt builder use cases, you will see the questions specifically are asking about like one or two objects, whereas like agent builder answer would be something that is in general they wanted to increase the productivity, whereas here they wanted to like see the sales interactions. So the answer is prompt builder here. I think pretty much close to everyone got this right. So yeah. So the next question is, Agentforce specialist needs a prompt template that generates a personalized summary of open cases for an account. Read it again. I'll read it again just to ensure that you understand that I need a prompt template that I need to generate personalized summary of list of open cases for a particular account. To ensure the reliability, specialist has decided not to rely on LLM to filter records. Rather than they wanted to send only cases that are open. So in that case, which option would you choose here? So you're generating a prompt template. You don't want to pull in all the cases that the user has, rather than specifically filter it somewhere using a tool within Salesforce to filter it and then pass only records that are open. Okay, I see mixed answers. The answer is flow. So in general, what I've seen throughout like the certification answers is that if you have, you can still do the same use case with Flow and Apex, but if the use case is simple that doesn't need an external system integration, you shouldn't like use Apex. You should go with Flows. So any simple use cases that can be like, let's say, can be done with Flows, your answer should be with Flows. But if it needs an external integration where you see heavy custom logic where Apex can do better, that's when you have to choose Apex. And record merge is something that you just integrate the field name or something. So merge is something that is out of the context here, rather than like you'll have to choose between Flow or Apex. It's a simple use case of like bringing open cases. So the answer is Flow here. So again, like the questions are mixed from like all 5 topics, so you'll see everything here. So what is the primary purpose of retrievers in data cloud? To store unstructured data, to create and manage search index, to return relevant data from vector database, to augment a prompt. So we know why do we need retrievers, but it's between B and C. Now think it in a way that which makes more sense for you to choose an answer, because retrievers are something that you access from a prompt template. So your answer is C. So you'll have to correlate. There could be like related answers, but C, pick one answer that correlates everything, and the C option kind of gives you this. But the B, like We are not managing search indexes via retrievers, because like managing search index is a complete different topics, and we have a separate UI for managing the search index. So the next question is, Agentforce specialist is working on improving the accuracy of the agent responses with unstructured data, again like RAG. The specialist needs to ensure that the data is processed in a way that enhances agent's ability to provide accurate and relevant answers. Now, which method should a specialist choose in order to have better improved agent responses? Okay, I don't see A, which is pretty good. Okay, I see majority of B popping in, so which is correct. So you use the technique of like chunking and indexing to get the answers. So flat file is something we don't use it, and then like this is an unstructured data, we still have to use it. So C is irrelevant here. So next question, company X needs to automate regression testing. Again, like I think I touched upon this, and it is again using CI/CD pipelines. Now, which feature is available? So whenever there is an automation that is not manual, which means like we need to access some API to get it done. So we have discussed about like testing API, where you can, when there is an automation, you still need some API to access it. So the answer is like testing API. So you would still need some level of efforts to develop all these scripts and then like hit that API to generate the results. But again, they wanted to automate it. So yeah. So company X has recently deployed an Agentforce agent and wants to manage and monitor adoption efficiently. They plan to use Agentforce session tracking to capture detailed interaction data and derive insights. So which step is essential for managing and monitoring this adoption using session tracing? Enable session tracing and review interaction logs directly in console to monitor, or enable session tracking and use data cloud to build reports and dashboards. Enable session tracking, use built-in metrics real time to monitor agent performance. I think I've specifically talked about it. I went into reports and dashboards to like show you how this works. So basic understanding is that right now for this certification, again, like this is specific to certification, don't think beyond certification while taking the exam. That is like super critical. For this, the answer is B, because we still use the data cloud reports and dashboards to view all the features to see what has happened. So the answer is B here. So that's the reason I went into uh, dashboard specifically, just to show you that. But since it was not available in my org, that's one of the reason. But in general, in context of certification, you'll use reports and dashboards. This is something that we have seen yesterday, that retail companies using AI powered chatbot to assist customers. The team wants to ensure that the chatbot can handle complex queries that require understanding context of the conversation. Again, like this is like pretty important. The team wants to ensure that the chatbot can handle complex queries that require understanding of the context of the conversation. So this should kind of give you more information, because in the question it tells that it has to understand the context of conversation. So based on this, yeah, I think pretty much everyone got it correct. So always you will try to find the related information within the answer. Since it's more towards that MCP, it's a AI agent, again it will still be able to like handle a complex conversations. It can also understand the customer preferences as well. So that's why like I highlighted it, because like you can use any API to like retrieve the product information or like process transactions, but you need an AI agent to understand the customer preferences, because the conversation might have happened on a different AI agent. So that's why like MCP kind of helps you understand that as well. So I have three more questions.
Yeah.
Rohan, if you want to pick winners from here, you can.
Uh, yeah, sure. So Rajiv, before we move ahead, I think we can take one or two questions.
Okay.
Uh, so like it will be difficult for you to find, so maybe I can just share with you. I think someone was asking about, is embedded service chat B2 in scope for exam?
No.
Okay, cool. And then there was a question on utterance. I was seeing like what are
Yeah, utterance is nothing but an input that you provide to an agent. So you'll have to list all the questions. So questions are nothing but your utterances.
yeah. So the question was how are they used to form a batch of tests?
Okay, so based on, let's say if I have like five different topics, now whatever is in your description that tells you whenever you can access that agent. So based on the description, it understands this is the use case that the agent is trying to solve for. And based on that, it will generate all those utterances related to that topic.
Yep. And how to access reporting for a specific agent session record.
So again, like I didn't have, okay, that's a good question. Let me,
Did I think we touched a bit on agent analytics, no?
yeah, I'll share you a link, but before like end of this chat, as soon as the
Hmm.
quiz is done in the chat, and then like you can review that documentation for agent for session tracking.
Yeah, I answered this question by Annapurna on Agentforce reports. Um, I think we are good. OmniFlow variable creation is available for input for outbound OmniFlow. We checked. So you may so Annapurna is asking for OmniFlow variable creation is available for input, but for outbound OmniFlow we
It is
checked variable.
always available for input. We don't do it available for output. Output is just reading the output to an external system. So irrespective of whether it is inbound or outbound OmniFlow, you always choose it as available for input because one system is sending chat from one infrastructure to a different infrastructure. So that's why.
Yep, and Ramakant mentioned if we can share the trailer learning path. So yeah, there is actually the Agent Blazer status that you can go for. So there you'll have a fantastic learning path and experience, and you'll get to do a lot of hands-on as well. So I recommend you do that. And Shreya has also responded. Cool. Yeah, I think we are good on the questions. And for the quiz that Rajiv will be sharing just now. So this quiz is for like especially those people who have attended the previous sessions as well, so they can win some prizes for being more enthusiastic and more and motivated. And for everyone else, so we do have a lot of swags. So you can post on LinkedIn about what you have learned as a part of s- these these sessions, and how you plan to ramp up your agent force game. And you can tag Trailblazer Chain, Rajiv, myself, Shreya, Swati, and everyone that I've mentioned in the message above, Lucky and Neha. So we'll get to know and we'll pick some winners from the post that you'll do. So with that, Rajiv, I think we are good to start the quiz. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rohan. I think that should be like three to four questions. I don't know, like I might have put in four or five. Let's see. But fastest finger first. So
Yep.
just type in the answer as soon as you see it. So select the use case that is most suitable for agents. Interact AI through conversation interfaces. Create and train LLM models using natural language. Enable data science scientists to generate AI content based on historical data. Yeah, it is mixed. You can just choose the one that came in first. The answer is A because Salesforce maintains the agent for you. So as a user, you'll just access the conversation interface and maintain it. Whereas taking care of like training the LLM models using natural language, because like there's no training happening here. And then like training an LLM model is something that we don't do it. That's where like data scientists and other people do it. So the context here is more related towards like us agent for specialist, what is more suitable for agents. So always think it in that context when you choose an answer, because if you think it from a general perspective, then it is different. But from my agent for specialist perspective, Salesforce give you everything out of the box. So all you're doing is interacting through a conversation interface and then seeing how it would be the best use case.
Okay.
So moving on to
So
the
No, no.
Yeah.
So 1 second, Rajiv, because I'm also
I think
checking.
Balaji is the first one to answer this correctly.
Yeah, but the tricky thing is Balaji. Like, so I don't see Balaji's name in the previous two
Ah,
sessions.
in the two sessions. That is true.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm like checking
I
everything in
think
the
it's
back.
Amrita then. Amrita has been pretty regular, I think.
Yeah, Amrita has been there. I remember. Yeah, Amrita is there. So we are choosing Amrita as the winner for this quiz. So Amrita, what you need to do is, so you need to send me your email on LinkedIn and your full name. So that I have, but you can ping me and then we can take it forward.
Do you
I
choose
can.
three winners from this or just
By the way,
one?
Amrita has been one of my ex-colleagues, okay?
Oh,
Ah,
okay, cool.
Yeah, congrats, Amrita.
Nice.
so Rogan, are we
Rajiv, you
picking
were saying
three or just one for the
we can
quiz?
so like we can pick one for each question, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
then we should have three. Okay,
Okay,
so
so now
people
we can
can
move on
still
to
stay
the.
in and two
Yeah,
more
yeah,
chances for you to win.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question. So what does agent to agent protocol provide to make it easier for agent to collaborate? So I've specifically talked about something which kinds of Salesforce worked with Google to introduce that. Okay, I think pretty much the answer is consistent. The answer is B. So it uses something called as Agentforce card, which is a JSON, which kinds of tells you which agent can handle what, so you'd be able to like perform better.
Yeah, so I guess Shubham answered first, right? Shubham Thorat for
Yeah.
this. Okay, so I see
Yeah.
his name in the previous session. So nice. So Shubham will be the winner for this question. So yeah, fastest fingers first, and Shubham, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or WhatsApp and share your email, and I'll get it like some swag for you.
Okay, so be careful on the third question. Let's get one more winner. So, what is the primary? I think we have answered it right. Database.
Yeah, this question
Yeah,
is
I think
repeated.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
But why are we getting different answers now? Let me see if
That's
I
the
have one more
exam
question.
pressure.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think yeah, I made a mistake then. I got only two questions. Do you still want one more question or we
We
are
can do
good to
that.
Yeah,
go?
it's like
Yeah.
a surprise question will be helpful.
Okay.
Anything that you feel like asking the forum.
That's good. I still got questions. No worry.
Okay.
So meanwhile, how did you feel about this 3 day? I think at least if you are able to learn one new thing, then that would be good. So that's what we wanted to understand. I'll change the question meanwhile.
You guys can either respond on the chat or if somebody wants to answer, you can raise a hand and maybe Rohan can unmute you.
Yeah, I can do that.
So we are getting the response to the question through the chat. Thank you, folks. Annapurna Parvati.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so Annapurna was also there asking good questions in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so we can pick a few winners from the active participants who have been asking good questions. So Annapurna, so you can also reach out to me.
See, the uh, Trailblazer community is so, giving, so to speak. So thank you, Rohan.
No worries.
Congrats, Annapurna.
Rajiv is doing some. Okay,
I can
tinkering
still
with this
skip it, doesn't
keyboard.
matter.
Okay, one
It's okay.
important thing I just want to kind of reiterate, as Rajiv has been saying since the starting today as well, right? That these 3 days were specifically to ensure your readiness for Agent Force Specialist exam. And as part of the form as well, I had kind of taken your consent that you will be, taking this exam before 31st of December, to ensure that we can increase the number of agent blazer specialists. That is one. Second, we are making sure of taking this opportunity to take the exam free of cost, right? So what I would also expect as we close this training today, if you're taking the certification exam, and obviously I expect all of us to pass, so please do let us know, tag us on LinkedIn, email us. We will be really happy to understand that Rajiv's efforts have paid off very well, right? So that's a request, humble request, that if you're taking exam, and make sure to take the exam. That is the first thing, because we need to get certified before 31st of December, free of cost. So as soon as you do that, you get certified, you pass the exam, please do let us know. Yep. Thank you.
Do you still want that question, or we can wrap up right away?
No, it's okay. We can have it. We
Oh,
committed.
okay. Okay, I have one last question. I don't think it is tricky, but okay. So, wants to add an AI agent to its community site. The design team has created highly customized chat interface. So, what would be helpful here? ScreenFlow, or use agent API, or use third party? Okay, at least. Okay, so this is something that we have seen, that it is again an AI agent, not any other system. So if you built an AI agent and still want to expose your agent with customized chat interface, then you'll have to use agent API. It's not either the third party chatbot or ScreenFlows, because it is an AI agent. So agent API is a capability where you'd be able to connect to third party systems. This is where outside in, meaning that you still have built something custom and still want to include some call out to Salesforce and have a real time interaction. So the answer is B.
So Balaji was again first, but he was
Yeah.
not there in the previous session.
But I think,
So
Rohan, now you might, if you have a possibility, include Balaji as one of the winners. I think
yeah,
he
okay,
deserves it as well.
okay.
Uh, yeah. And
I
let's
will.
have maybe some other person who answered after him as well to.
Yeah, I will find a way to reward Balaji because he did it twice. So I'll do something. So Balaji, so you can also reach out to me. Okay, and so there have been questions on sharing the recording, so that we'll definitely do. But please give us a couple of days, and we'll share it, and also inform you when like we have it uploaded on YouTube mostly.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think,
any
Rohan, RM, somebody called RM, has also answered it correctly, B, after Balaji. So do you
mm,
want to consider that?
we can. I'm not sure who RM is. Maybe you can give your full name and we can check.
Yeah.
Oh, Rehan.
Oh, Rehan. Okay,
Oh, is it? Okay.
okay. Cool. So Rehan, I think so. He was there in the yesterday's session as well. So Rehan, it's okay. I know. So, but you can still share your email ID, and so we have picked five winners instead of five. Instead of two. So okay. So you can reach out to me, and I'll give you some swags. Cool. Anything else, Shreya or Rajiv, you want to share?
I think take your exams as soon as possible. Just ensure you go through the Trailhead course content once again. Ensure that you're covering everything. Pretty much, I've tried to stick through the certification content and ensure that we are covering all the topics. But again, like since it's a little more towards like hands-on helping you understand certain things, I might have missed out one or two topics in each section. So that's the reason Trailhead course should be your first thing to review. If you feel that you are comfortable enough taking the exam, I think there is a Trailhead that helps you take a sample test. I would say like for each section you'd have like 5 or 6 questions. So complete that as well. So once that is done, you can take the exam and hopefully you'd be able to clear it, because I think pretty much we spoke about like everything that's in the exam. So
Yep.
all the best for your exam, and let us know how these sessions helped you clear your exams as well. Happy to know about it.
Yeah, because we'll have 10 odd gifts that we can give based on your LinkedIn post. So be active and do tag us. And as Rajiv mentioned, do refer to Trailhead and make sure you register for your exam earlier, because you may not get the exact time slot you want if you wait for the last moment. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm good, Shreya.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Rajiv, for all your time, and your expertise definitely shows through the ease of navigations and quickness of navigations that you were doing. So thank you so much for your time, and for I understand you have been caught up with multiple things, but you agreed to take up this training for all of us. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Rohan, for enabling these 350 plus people who have registered for this training, and I had absolutely no platform where I wanted to host it. So thanks a lot for chiming in at the last moment. Thanks a lot for being there always for all these initiatives. And last but not the least, all of you who have joined in today, really appreciate all your efforts. And I think the way Rajiv has trained us all, I'm sure we are going to get certified. And don't miss to follow Trailblazer Chain, and also to tag us to give the responses around how this experience was. And whenever you take the exam and pass it, please do let us know. We'll be happy to celebrate it together. So thank you very much all for all your time, and thanks a lot, Rajiv, once again. Thanks, Rohan.
Yeah, thank you everyone. Bye
Yep.
bye.
Thank
Take
you
care.
all.
So
Thanks
we'll
Bye.
close
everyone.
the
Bye.
session now. Bye bye.